Hull FC. Player of the week. I don't want to give it to him. Don't want to give it to him until we find out if he's a vicious wife beater or not. In reality, so I'm going to go Dan Sargentson instead.
Okay, I think that's
he's
fine.
Got a wife.
My player of the week, just because of some of his audacious play, was also a Warrington player, but I've gone for Blake Austin as my player of the week.
Fair enough. And what do you sort of pick out as maybe the best highlight, best try potentially of the week?
Well, my highlight was Sargentson's Golden Point try, because he'd have been my player of the week, but I wanted him as my highlight of the week, so I compromised.
Well, I'm going to go into the Warrington St Helens game for my highlight moment of the week, and I'd say Saints' first try was brilliant, but I think Charnley's first try was even better.
Interesting. Yeah. Nice to have to make that choice, though.
Yeah, the semi-final draw was made at half-time of the Wigan Hull FC game, so we knew what the semi-final ties would be at that stage.
I was going to say I'd have loved the lols if it had just been Leeds will play Wigan.
And we've got Salford versus Warrington and Leeds versus Wigan as those two ties. They're going to be played on Saturday the 3rd of October as a BBC doubleheader. Where we know the venue now is going to be the St Helens Stadium. We don't know which order round the fixtures are going to be as of yet, I don't think. But one will be on BBC. The first one will be on BBC One. The second one will be on BBC Two. And if BBC put together an excellent feature like the one, it was Rob Burrow in the previous round of fixtures. It was Mossy Massoy in this round of fixtures. They keep doing these little glimpses. There was the Roy Francis one as well, wasn't there, P? So the BBC are delivering with these sort of mini documentaries for half time.
Yeah, I mean, I'd forgotten about it until you just mentioned it then. But yeah, I mean, we had a quick word about that. It was kind of at this time, which let's be honest, it's been a shit year.
Yeah,
and Mossy's had it rougher than most. But that guy's positivity is beyond belief. Absolutely beyond belief, and he is a better man than I, quite frankly. And it was just to see him with his family and the way that he's kind of coping with adversity is it's wonderful in the circumstances. So yeah, but yeah, I completely agree. The way that the BBC put it together, yet again, fantastic. Really making the most of the sport appearing in front of a bigger audience.
People, yeah. And just the simplicity of it'll be all right.
Yeah.
There was nothing over the top about that. There's nothing kind of overtly spiritual or religious or whatever people might get the strength from. It just showed his character, I think, that it'll be all right, and smile, and then the big smile, and you gotta say there's a huge amount of inspiration that is a huge man, is Massimo, so, but the amount of inspiration he's giving off is even bigger than his physical stature.
Yeah. And I'd have to say, I think he was looking really well as well. Do you know what I mean? In terms of his physical. Obviously some of the kind of the muscle kind of loss that he had early on, you could kind of really see that in his body, but he seems to be more himself in the way that he looks.
Yeah, he's clearly lost weight and stuff, but he doesn't look a weird shape, does he? He looks like he's got it together.
Yeah, and he's clearly continually improving, and it's a fantastic thing.
Yeah, definitely. I came out of it thinking, you've got this, Mossy. You're going to get most of your life back here. And he's going to feel like he's got it all back, because that's the kind of mentality he's got. Well, legend. Predictions update. I went 4 out of 5 this week. The fifth game we're going to talk about in other results. Tim went 2 out of 5. obviously, without the stats and the Super Brew and stuff for Challenge Cup week, we don't have those updates this week. Thanks to everyone getting their fan views in. Please do make sure you get your fan views in on the next round of fixtures as well. And we've got a fan view in or two on the other results that we're now going to move into.
So we move on to other results, and in the dim and distant past of last Thursday, it was a Super League Round 7 catch-up game taking place middle of the afternoon. It was Wakefield 6, Huddersfield 29. 13-0 to Huddersfield at the break, and Jack Smith was refereeing this one again. So we've got stats on this one being a Super League match. Huddersfield made over 300 more metres for a total of over 1,800, with 50 more carries, thanks in part to 4 fewer errors. Wakefield actually had a better average gain and better tackle success rate. For Huddersfield, Ashton Golding with 5 tackle busts and 178 metres. Jerry McGilvray, 7 tackle busts, 168 metres. Jake Waddle with a try and 155 metres. Darnell McIntosh with a try assist, 161 metres and 2 clean breaks. For Wakefield, Reece Lane with 8 tackle busts, 194 metres. Bill Tupu, 173 metres. Ben Jones-Bishop, 164 metres. And the sandwich smasher himself on debut, Eddie Batty, 48 tackles, 11 with which were from marker, and 144 metres.
Yeah, and cue some really hackneyed headlines in Yorkshire newspapers about Eddie Batty after that, but after his debut for Wakefield. But the stat of the week the stat line of the week would have been over 3,000 metres in this match because that doesn't happen a huge amount of times in the Super League. If we'd have been doing a full round of Super League games. One fan view, Old Trafford Here We Come, got in touch to say Aidan Caesar. So I guess we start with Aidan Caesar, Alan. 1 try and 3 try assists from the main man for the Giants.
Yes, I've only seen the highlights from this one, so we are distinctly limited in what we can see from this one.
Feels like a normal Wakefield Huddersfield match review, doesn't it? Yeah, we're scratching a bit, like it would be every other year when they're not on TV. These games.
I mean, from what I've gleaned from the highlights, it seems that Wakey had a couple of chances early on, and the Giants managed to hold them out. I have to say, Chris McQueen, he showed impressive pace for his try, kind of breaking from about the 30 or something. Yeah. And the fullback not getting near him. Steam train. He did really well, considering, again, another player who hasn't played for a long time. I haven't seen him feature for Wests this year.
I didn't even know he was with Wests. That's how much I hadn't seen him this year. I thought he was still with the Titans. Was he at the Titans? I thought he was at the Titans.
I think he moved to West from the Titans, I think. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, you're right. He's been non-existent in the NRL. But yeah, he's obviously come in and, doing a good job for the Giants. But yeah, it appears to have been one-way traffic from then on, really. I liked Wardle's try. The blindside work was good for that one. But yeah, it appears to be... the scoreline tells you how dominant this one was, I think.
Yeah, and... Aidan Caesar's short passing game looks completely on point, and his short kicking game was every bit as good as his short passing game. What I would say is everyone's talking about how great, and he won 3 Albert Goldthorpe points. McQueen got 2 and Cudjoe got 1, we should mention. I haven't seen the Man of Steel points from this game. Oliver Wilson got a grade A dangerous contact charge, but no match penalty notice for one of the Polar Bears. Late inclusion in the side, actually, for the Giants. The back line up for the Giants had a lot more of a established look to it, with Golding, McGilvery, Cudjoe, Wardle and McIntosh line up there. Jordan Turner played his first game in the halves probably since when every Saints player played in the halves in the grand final back in 2014, and Aidan Caesar obviously was there. What I would say is Caesar's try that he scored should have been ruled out surely for a deliberate knock-on.